What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another edition of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast here, where we are going to be continuing on with our special series that we've been recording in advance about our all-time rosters and our mock draft stuff and our pay-per-view cards and whatever. We are on the fifth section of this six-part series, so we're going to explain what is coming your way in a few moments, but first things first, just some introductions. I'm your host as always, Tony Mango. Joining me as always are Callum Wiggins.
Don't worry, I got this.
And Robert DeFelice.
Yeah, he's got this.
Callum's got this.
I'm just preparing people that I'm not going to allow you two to take this over because we know where that leads if you've watched the other videos.
I think we're going to end up with a very good layout here. I think that we're going to end up having my prediction for this.
It's hard not to with the talent.
With the 300 something people. And to be fair, we actually are not limited to just these 300, but the game plan here is you can see on your screen right now if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube and you're listening, then you can't see on your screen unless you, I don't know, bring up the YouTube video. That's kind of the whole point for audio only stuff. But we did our mock draft content. We picked our rosters. We already put up our pay-per-view cards. Check those episodes out if you haven't already. And now we're going to look at the 300 names that we had and also the idea that we could potentially, if we forgot somebody, which at this point I don't think we had really forgotten anybody, but if we forgot anybody and we want to incorporate them instead, we could always do that. And the goal here is it's a working together kind of process. Realistically speaking, you know, when we're going through our mock draft, it's one person picking whatever they can, back and forth, whatever. That's not how a company works. And despite the fact that, you got like Shane McMahon and Stephanie McMahon and Triple H and Kevin Dunn and all these other people, at the end of the day, Vince McMahon does make that ultimate call. But he's not the only one making the calls. People are in the creative spectrum. You know, Bruce Prichard's going to offer some suggestions and et cetera, et cetera. Michael P.S. Hayes is going to bring somebody in. William Regal is going to bring somebody in, et cetera. And what we're going to try to do here is a consolidated ultimate WWE roster of all time, at least as far as October 9th, 2021. Again, as we've said in the past, since we are recording these in advance, we have to take into account that maybe some weird stuff happens. You never know these days. For all we know, 5 of the first people that we pick can end up having some major issues where it's like, cancel them because they did this or whatever. It's October 9th. We didn't know if that's the case. So we might hear some yada yada problematics as we've established in the past. We might not. We're going to be debating about who deserves to be in these spots and, running through this as much as we can, trying to figure out what is the best roster that we can make. While we're doing this, drop a comment below. Tell us your thoughts on who we should be picking. We're not going to be able to check them out while we're doing this. It's not a live thing, but, it's good to see what people would have thought ahead of time. And tell us your thoughts on what we end up with this whole roster. If you're like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys didn't pick this person or whatever. While you're doing that, just to get some other plugs out of the way, hit the like button, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, ring that notification bell, share this to anybody who you think might be interested in checking the episode out. And if you want to help sponsor more episodes in the future and just help us grow and continue to keep the lights on here, a couple different ways that you can do that to open up your wallets and toss some spare change our way are the thanks button, the PayPal button at bottomofthesmarkoutmoment.com, the TeePublic and Redbubble shops to pick up some merchandise. There's also the Patreon and the members only stuff on YouTube. So if you click join, it is literally the same thing as the Patreon, patreon.com/smarkoutmoment, where you can get to the Darkcast tiers. You can directly finance episodes that you sponsor through the Pick Your Poison tier, et cetera, et cetera. You should know by now probably how this all works, but if you don't, it's a little bit of a breakdown. And if you're still a little confused, let me know and I'll drop a comment and I'll, fill you in on what the other details are about, or somebody else can too if they, in the meantime. But yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of see how this goes. So we've got our spreadsheet up here, and who's the armadillo and who's the shrew?
I'm a shrew.
You're a shrew.
You're the armadillo.
Callum's a shrew.
Yeah,
I always knew that Callum was a shrewd. businessman.
Why?
Why not? I don't know. So I didn't really settle on a specific idea of how we should do this, but I thought the most simple and easy way to start is to just kind of toss out some of the locked in names that we know there's going to be no real debate about. Because we know certain names are going to be on this list. So
Well,
do you want to just kind of...
I was going to say slightly on top of that as well. It's important that we get a balance right as well in terms of locked in picks, sure, but it can't be just all singles male wrestlers.
Yeah.
We need to start thinking of who we're locking in terms of tag teams and women's wrestlers as well. So just to put it out there, and we should be able to get to those pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I've color coded this too, just because out of curiosity, I want to see how many people from each of our rosters ends up doing that. And, we'll count that at the end too. So I'll just start grabbing some names. So Undertaker, Michaels, Brock, Triple H, Charlotte, Jericho, Edge, Piper. I would assume these guys, you're all in agreement, locked in.
Yeah. I would agree with those.
Just to get some people from each thing. Austin, Cena, Bret, Roman, Sasha, Bayley, at the very least. Probably some other ones that, obviously in the mix too, but these ones?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Can't imagine that there's any arguments for that. Can't imagine that there's arguments for at least these three. I would say some other ones too. I can't bounce around. I will try to make an argument that possibly not Ronda Rousey, but I'm pretty sure we're going to end up putting her on there. But these three.
Yeah.
Rock, Randy Savage, Kurt Angle.
Oh, yeah.
I would say I'm going to bounce around here. It's going to be kind of crazy. Dudley Boys. Locked in?
Yeah.
Yeah, as a tag team, yeah.
Yeah, can't imagine having a roster without the
all three members of the New Day.
Yeah, New Day, definitely. So we got Big E. We got... Where's Kofi Kingston on here? Here's Xavier Woods.
He was right above Big E.
Oh, there you go.
Road Warriors.
I wouldn't lock in Road Warriors. But I would put... We have these... I just put them like this. Not unanimous, maybe. I would at least put Road Warriors in the maybe. I think that's going to be one of those teams that we might end up being like, oh, you know what? Crap, we might not be able to, depending on how some of these...
They're the Road Warriors.
Yeah, but,
we got... Well, just if...
Trish?
If we're going to... Well, yeah, Trish, of course, yeah.
Trish and Lita.
Lita, yeah, I forgot about Lita. Let's see. I would say Mickey. I would try to lock her in for the women's division.
Yeah.
Sure.
Kane, Razor?
Kane, definitely.
No, I'm not as convinced just yet.
On Kane?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put him in not unanimous at the very least. It's Daniel Bryan.
Yep. And Becky Lynch as well.
Oh, yeah, Becky too. Hardy Boys.
Absolutely. Yeah. Jeff and Matt should be in it. In the tag team.
Yeah. Tag team. Where's Matt Hardy on here? Matt. Where's Matt Hardy? I can't find him.
He's a bit further down. He's a bit, there he is. Just below Rob Van Dam. Yeah.
Mick Foley.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio, definitely, yeah.
So there's not Xavier Woods, it's just X. Just give me X. Rey Mysterio, that should definitely be in here. We're already a fifth of the way through.
I think because we've got Roman Reigns in there, I think that makes Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose locks as well. Because they should go as the Shield.
I could see that being the case. I would potentially, maybe if we end up getting a weird position, try to put them in like up for debate. But just because we're locking these in doesn't mean that they're also 100% immovable, locked in kind of deal. It just seems like it's more than likely that they'll probably stay.
I would say as a tag team, Jimmy and Jey Uso should be.
Oh, I love the idea of locking them in there. Who has Jimmy and Jey?
You do.
Yeah.
They're down under AJ Love on the first column.
First column? There we go.
Yeah.
There we go with Jimmy and Jay.
Okay, let's have a look through now.
I would try to lock in Randy Orton.
I think. Well, what do you think, Callum?
I'm not unanimous on it yet.
I'll move him in that column then.
Because again, it might just be a case that like I just won't like having him on there because he just doesn't work for me. But it's like
Eddie Guerrero, I think, could be a lock.
I would lock him in, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, whether or not we were to take him with like Chavo or you put him in the mid card, even, because that's another thing to keep in mind too. Like when we're doing this, we're eventually going to do our pay-per-view card. Somebody like an Eddie Guerrero, he could be a main event player on certain cards, and he could be a mid card player on certain ones. And it's not to crap on Eddie Guerrero, but it's just like I mean, this is the ultimate roster. Like not everybody can be the main event. That's kind of the whole point. I would potentially want to lock in Beth for the women.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best women, so I would lock her in as well.
I'm not sold on it yet.
You're not sold on it? Okay.
Okay, we'll put her in not unanimous.
I'd go AJ. AJ Styles should be a lock.
I was gonna say which one, Lee or Styles. I would lock in AJ Styles. I'd be cool with that.
I think you'd have to lock in AJ Styles.
How about Asuka for the women?
Yeah.
Okay, throw another one of the women's division in there. Where are we standing on Hulk Hogan? I feel like he kind of has to be. Same with Flair.
Well, Flair, but Hogan's not a good worker, so I don't really want to put him on. As I say, he was one that I was never ever going to pick on the draft. Even if we'd gotten down to like 50 picks and no one had picked him, I still would never have picked him. Because he just doesn't work for the style of card that I would book. So eventually we might end up picking him, but at the moment I'm not going to be sold on it.
I would put him underneath the Road Warriors for now.
So then where we standing on Flair? Because Flair, Hulk Hogan doesn't wrestle well. Flair wrestles better, but at the same time, Flair I only would bring into the mix here for his popularity and his promos and everything. I wouldn't for his wrestling. I've never been super big on Ric Flair matches.
Well, I would say he's locked in, but if you're in dispute with that,
that means we could put him in the not unanimous category because he would pretty much be a lock for me. But
I'll put him in there for now. He's probably going to end up going in.
Yeah.
I forget if it was on here or no. Okay, that's just the card stuff. Or did I do it on here? No. Must have been a different thing that I had separated some ideas of like some locks and then some potential locks and then that kind of deal. Actually, you know what? Let's go through here and start eliminating some people too to make it just clean this up a little bit. So, toss out some people that like lower on these things. Like I highly doubt that we are going to have let's see.
I'd say pretty much anybody.
Yeah,
so I would probably, at the very least, I would say that these most likely are not going to get in there, and then other ones from these ones too. Anybody want to be like, I think that I'd make an argument for any of these to potentially get on the list? Or
I don't know who you're talking. I don't know who you're talking.
Yeah.
About.
You guys can't see.
I don't see who you're talking about.
From Emma down to Layla. So.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'd go even further.
I'd do discard on that.
Well, I'd say pretty much everyone from MVP down on that list. Pretty much everyone from Big Boss Man down on your list, Tony.
And then
pretty much everyone down from Mark Merrow on Rob's list. Would be pretty much like I would not.
There's some exceptions there, but
we'll make potentially, but like
I would say everyone from.
I think there's really no point just getting rid of people because like we're just not going to pick them.
Well, I want to clean it up a little bit to make it a little bit easier for the visuals. So I'm not going to like delete them, but just kind of move them off to the side. So like everybody from MVP down, like I don't think that I'd be making much of a case for any of them. So like I'll move them off to the side. What am I doing here?
I'm looking at them. I would say on my list, everyone from Mabel through Barry Horowitz. I think the Bellas twins are worth a discussion just because, name value. That would be the main argument I would make for the Bellas twins.
Yeah, they're the ones I was kind of like thinking that might end up having some sort of discussion surrounding them. But
well, Terry Funk too. I mean,
all right. So I'd go from Ultimate Dragon then down to Barry Horowitz.
So yeah, Ultimate Dragon, I wouldn't be doing much of an argument for. Mabel Washington. Let's see, but Harley Race. No pushback on Harley.
I don't. I like Harley.
Maybe keep Harley Race, but the rest of them can go.
Because I probably wouldn't argue much for a Harley Race being in there, but I figure it's somebody to think about.
So yeah, keep the Bella twins, but the rest of them can go.
Somebody
you can get rid of Mark Marrow too.
Also, somebody like Sable. We're gonna play a little bit of some different rules than what we did during the draft. For anybody who's kind of curious, somebody like a Sable, we're gonna treat this as you don't need to draft her if she is used as a valet. Sunny, for instance, doesn't need to be drafted, but she can be used as a valet if we think of a reason to use her, or a manager, or whatever. So Ahmed, no. Jimmy Snuka, no. We were doing with that.
Yeah, that one.
I don't think that I'd be really going crazy for Snuka. Bella Twins, let's move them back up. And then on my list,
you can get rid of Mara though, because I wouldn't make that.
Where's
Mark Mara?
Oh, I wouldn't bother with Dynamite Kid.
It depends if we draft Bulldog, because I know that Tony, you'd rather probably team up Bulldog and Owen, but I think Bulldog and Kid is a better choice than Owen.
I'll keep him at least in the mix here. Just cleaning some up a little bit here, then I'll move over to my chunk. All right, so yeah, probably not much of a case for Big Boss Man. EC3, Bob Holly, Barkin. Okay, these guys. For Lex Luger, probably not, but
both of you are saying no. I am not gonna be the sole arguing for Lex Luger.
Well, all right. Well, you know what? If you're on the fence a little bit, I'll potentially be on the fence. I'd keep Val Venus for now, but I highly doubt.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, boy.
All right. Well, then I don't know. I mean, I thought that he was a fun character.
There's loads of people here that are fun characters, but yeah, but I'm not keeping Barry Horowitz around either if he was a fun character, or fucking the Iconics, like yeah.
Shotzi, Clown, I wouldn't keep either.
Tommy, IRS, Jinder Mahal. Yeah, I mean, not much of these I can really make much of an argument for.
Yeah.
All right, so let's clean up a little bit of this again. Just make this a little bit more concise. Start looking around, seeing if there's anybody you think should be potentially a lock. I mean, obviously there's great names that we haven't even addressed yet.
But how many have you picked so far? We're not even at 40 picks yet.
Yeah, we're not even halfway. So
yeah, so
we've got some flexibility.
We've got people we can choose from. I think CM Punk is a lock.
Yeah, I think he's proven in the last 2 months alone that he's a crazy draw.
Where is Punk? Punk's on Callum's list. I'm totally cool with locking in Punk. I think that as far as like when we go into like some of the discussion that we've got, we even just a minute ago we're talking about most likely Owen and Bulldog, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't think Rob's going to put up an argument against them.
I would not.
I would also lock in Mr. Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it seems fair.
Booker T.
Not yet. He likely will be, but not yet.
I could agree with that.
How are we feeling about Andre?
I think so. I think his presence alone is just enough for that.
How about Dusty Rhodes? I'd put him in at least the maybe.
Yeah, maybe for now. But I think he's got a good chance of making it on. I think we should. What do we think about FTR or the Revival in this instance?
I mean, obviously I picked them, but if you ask me, they're up on that list. I've made them my tag team champions at the end of the 2-Night Mania. They're up on that list.
I could see a potential scenario where we might have to get rid of them, but I would more than likely, at least as far as if we're going with trying to make sure that we get the best tag teams and everything, I'd rather have FTR than even the Road Warriors, funny enough.
Yeah, same.
So
I think they would have produced better matches than the Road Warriors.
In that vein, the Steiner brothers.
Where's Scott Dawson? There he is.
Steiner brothers.
I wouldn't
Scott's
sign
a
off
hell
on
of a
him.
single.
Not yet.
Scott's a hell of a single, and they're a great tag team.
I think there's a good argument to be made for them, but I'm not. I think we can sit on them for a little bit.
Put them in the maybe.
Yeah. What do we think about Undisputed Era? We've got 3 members here. No one drafted Bobby Fish, but
God, AEW drafted Bobby Fish before we did. Fuck.
So I would assume more than likely Adam Cole. And despite the fact that I have Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, I'd be a little bit hesitant to lock them 100%. But I mean, I could. We are still not even quite at the halfway point. So, we'll eventually we won't have to be super stingy, and then eventually we're gonna have to be super stingy. It's gonna be kind of like that.
Well, at the moment we're just like still just making sure we know people that are in the maybe poll, because a lot of people that are currently in the not unanimous or maybe poll probably end up being there. But there's but we'll see.
What do we think about Goldberg? Goldberg's a lock, right?
More than likely.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just a case of I know I ended up drafting him, but it's not the type of wrestler that I would particularly want to work with. But I feel like there's something about the Goldberg aura that you'd kind of want to have on an all-star roster.
At least put him in that for now.
Yeah.
It's Mojo. I'd lock him.
I'd lock him.
I'd also put him on mine.
All right, cool. How about Owens?
Owens and Zayn. I'd put both of them.
I would if you're getting Owens, you're getting Zayn. It's like a peanut butter and jelly.
Which one's peanut butter? Which one's jelly?
I don't know, but the Undertaker's eating all the New Days at his house.
I think we got Asuka. I think that Shirai and Kairi Sane are on the same par as her. Kairi slightly less, obviously.
I was gonna say Kairi, not as much. Io, I could see.
It depends if you're gonna do a women's tag team thing.
How many women do we have so far? I'd lock them.
We do need some more women, and we do have some more that we can be putting in here. I mean, we could always mess around a little bit. For that matter, Bianca and Rhea.
Yeah, Bianca and Rhea. I
think so.
And Gail Kim. I'd also say as well.
I'd be cool with Gail Kim in there. Yeah.
All right. Since we're discussing the women, Ronda Rousey. Tony's saying he'd make a case against her. I don't know what the case is. Yeah, I don't know what the case is against her.
The case I'd make against her, and I said before, like more than likely she's going to go in there, is just if push came to shove and it became Ronda versus some other, fuck it, let's put her in there.
I was just gonna say Ronda against Maurice. Yeah, we're really gonna.
No, I mean, I wouldn't go with like her against Maurice or something, but like if it was like Ronda and we couldn't pick her and say Rick Rude, I'd be like, you know what I mean? Like
I'd go Ronda.
Yeah, I'd still go Ronda.
Fair enough.
I mean, to be fair, there's a reason why I drafted her fourth on my list. It's like and just in the grand scheme of just overall sports and popularity, she's more famous than most of the people on this list.
Yeah, I mean, like she rivals The Rock in terms of popularity.
I won't go that far, but I get your point.
On a women's scale, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of these names that I feel are at least pretty heavily in the discussion of a maybe. Razor Ramon, Sting, Ted DiBiase, Diesel, China, Batista.
Yep. So
I'm just gonna move them off to the side at the very least.
Yeah. So out of those, the ones that start immediately I'm on board with are Ted DiBiase in China and Sting. I think Razor and Diesel, but I would do that on the premises that they're a tag team.
I would also do that.
I would assume more than likely that they probably wouldn't be getting on this Ultimate card thing. We're not probably going to get a singles Razor Ramon match, for instance. Certainly not going to with Diesel, but we could get like Razor and Diesel as like the outsiders kind of deal. That we could get a click kind of thing going on. Like, yeah.
I mean, that's the most interesting thing about this is that we're going to draft 150 people. We're not going to use 150 people on a card.
More than likely not. Yeah. So even that's going to be a little difficult too.
We had to stretch out to like 20 odd matches each when we were doing like just 100 people. So
yeah,
we're really not going to do anything. So I would say in that vein, they probably would be all 6 of them on the All-Star roster.
Yeah,
and on a similar thing to that, then I think all the people that we've currently got in
not unanimous. Yeah, I think that we should.
And even maybe as well, I think would both be in there, even if we weren't necessarily going to book them.
Since we did have these separate, I'll keep them separate at least for a little bit, just to kind of keep this going, because there's a lot of people we still haven't even talked about yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what's another?
Baszler's a lock for me. You're hovered over Baszler right now. She's a lock for me.
Yeah, Baszler's a lock for me as well.
I could totally lock her in. Yeah. And she could lock us in lots of submissions.
Yeah. I would be interested to see. We got Edge. Do we take Christian?
We have to. I'm tired of him getting so disrespected. I think Christian's at least top 150.
I can't imagine that there's probably going to be people that I would be like, all right, I think we need to ultimately pick that one over Christian.
We intend to use Edge as a singles guy.
I mean, because we might, but we could have the option to use Christian too. So I'd be cool with putting Christian in there. Because, I mean, we could always have Edge as a singles guy and Christian not on the card if we need to.
Yeah, of course, yeah. I'm looking for.
Let's see. What about Goldust?
At the moment, it's maybe. I think.
Yeah.
Put him in the maybe pile.
A high possibility because I do love Goldust, but I'm just thinking at the moment of. Looking at Rod's one, I would sign off with Rob. I'd sign off on Karma.
I like Karma.
Just because it's someone something different in the women's division.
She could be the big monster because we don't have we have like China, but she's a different type of when it comes to that deal. Like Karma could be like she is the Andre the Giant of the women's division kind of deal.
I would look at. I like Ricky Steamboat.
Oh yeah.
I'd put him in the maybe for right now, but he's probably going to end up being in there, especially because we are still just about at the halfway point. I highly doubt that there's going to be a case against him.
How are we on Shinsuke Nakamura?
I don't think I'd sign off on him.
Not just yet, no. It's odd, but at the moment, just based on his WWE stuff, because it's like at that point in time.
Well, what about Iron Tully?
Here are a couple of people that I think more than likely you're probably going to end up saying no to, and I'll push them off to the side. And with anybody on the discard pile, we always could bring them in too, but I don't think we're going to make a big case about Xia Li.
No.
I don't think D'Lo Brown is probably going to end up getting in there.
No.
Talented guy, but like again, this is a 300 great people and whatever. I don't
know in Hurricane.
Yeah, Santino, Hurricane, Iron Sheik.
Santino, I would think maybe if we want to get the fun thing. Hurricane, I don't think we would end up doing that.
We got an all-star card building here. I don't think that we need much comedy value in this one.
We do need a little bit though.
Well, yeah, but we've got people like Eddie Guerrero that we could put in comedy matches, and like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens do comedy stuff. And I don't think we need a specific. The only value you bring to this is being comedic.
And if we're adding clowns, then Doink is back in the discussion.
I mean, he could always be too, we could have Santino playing Doink the Clown, but
I would completely rule out Santino Marella.
I would as well.
Boo.
Iron Sheik, I don't think I'll be making a case for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm probably not gonna make a case for Iron Sheik.
In that same vein, in my pile, that's still there Not going to make too much of a strong case for Hakushi. Not going to make too much of a strong case for the Honky Tonk Man. Yeah. Not going to make any case for Dean Douglas.
So I would say Charlie Haas, Psychosis, Hakushi.
Well, Charlie Haas is the interesting one because do we go with...
If you have Benjamin, maybe you do get Haas.
I kind of feel like Benjamin on his own is still more useful than World's Greatest Tag Team. I don't think
ever on his own was as good as if he was in a tag. Basically, Charlie Benjamin's entire career is the only time he was actually treated with any sort of prominence to when he's in a tag team.
But what I was going to say was Benjamin on his own is worth more than wasting a pick on Charlie Haas, and I also feel like I would ultimately probably not have World's Greatest Tag Team for two bigger picks.
Yeah, I'd say that as well. If Haas is going, then Benjamin goes as well.
And then let's at least for now toss out Psychosis and Hakushi.
Yeah, Psychosis, Hakushi, Honky Tonk Man can go.
Honky Tonk Man, Dean Douglas can go.
Yeah, Honky Tonk and Dean Douglas.
Steve Blackman.
Blackman goes as well. Yeah.
He can go.
Let's see. Here's where's Dean Douglas on here?
I read about
Slow Jacqueline. Yeah. I'd say
Luna Vachon, because she's not going to be a prominent woman in the women's division, and then we could always just put her in there as like a...
I'd say as well, I'd say both the Iconics should go as well.
I think so too. I don't think we'd waste any spots on them. Where's Peyton?
I think we'd already gone rid of Peyton anyway, so we should have gone rid of Billy Kay
a while ago. That's the case.
Yeah. Peyton was in the lower half.
Yeah. Saturn and Steve Blackman can both go.
Okay, there you go. I don't think Ember Moon makes the list.
I doubt.
Leave her for now.
Oh, you want to leave it? Okay. Well, that's fine.
For now.
Yeah, for now. We could always just, the debates are open.
Right, looking at my one, I won't make a case for Jamie Noble or Cassius Ohno.
I think Sherry as well. Sherry would be more of a manager.
Sherry can be in the valet in this case.
Yeah, be a valet kind of thing.
Ivory can go, right?
Yeah, Ivory. Yeah, I think Ivory should go. I'd say
Ivory's somebody that if we had more, like if we had 200, I think Ivory would be in there. I don't think with 100, pal. I don't think with 150, Ivory's getting in there. I don't think Sonya is getting in there.
Unlikely. Tajiri and Ilya Dragunov, I'd drop as well. I think we can get a cruiserweight division without some of those ones as well. To be fair, like some of the ones towards the back end for me, in particular, were cruiserweight, so we might end up dipping into those ones if we're trying to build up that side of things.
Yeah, I would get rid of Mustache Mountain.
It depends, because I think
they're a good team.
Yeah, if you're going to go with them and Pete Dunne, I think you got a really good trios there.
Got a good real trio.
So I'd say if you get rid of them, you're getting rid of Pete Dunne as well, because Pete Dunne doesn't hold enough value on his own, I don't think.
Probably not.
Is Paige here?
But I'm not sure about it at the moment. Because I think they're really good as a trio.
Paige, yeah.
What do you think about Paige? Keeping her?
For now.
Okay. Yeah, for now. Okay, let's go back to...
Yeah, I think there's... All right, so we're looking at
these things. Just for the sake of this, we got 60 people here, and we've got how many would this be? 20 people here or so. So we do have options, and then out of the people that we have in this, we've got 112. So or 113 JBL. So we still have to. Oh wait, actually more because I didn't count these. So we got 120 people essentially that we have to whittle down by half.
Yeah. So a lot of people will end up going that we need to work our way through.
So then let's talk about some of the halves that we probably would put in there.
Okay.
At that point, I probably would be good in locking in Goldust and Steamboat.
Yeah.
That's like
I would be happy with that.
In the top half.
You still not sold on Goldust?
No.
Okay, Steamboat is.
Yeah, Steamboat is Steamboat
then. Regal. What about Regal?
Yeah, I would put in Regal. If you're looking for comedy and actually good wrestling, Regal is what you want.
Yeah, Regal's the comedy guy.
I would say in this case, I'd also lock in the Steiners now. I'm happy to lock in the Steiners.
Absolutely.
I'm a little bit hesitant on Rick Steiner, but I think that more than likely we would come back around to it and we'd probably put them in there.
Yeah.
How about Vader?
I'm happy with Vader.
I'd put Vader in there, yeah.
Vader's cool. New Age Outlaws, X-Pac.
I think
I'm not sure.
We have Hunter, Shawn, Diesel, and Razor, so I think X-Pac can go in for sure, but I'm not sure about the Outlaws.
X-Pac is the one that I'm most okay with.
And I think all three. So
yeah.
I'd rather put them in there, for instance, than say we have like Ember Moon.
The only one right now.
But are we unanimous on X-Pac at least?
Yeah, the only one that I'm unanimous on at the moment is X-Pac.
Oh, so all three on X-Pac?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then we'll keep these two in this pile at least for right now.
Yeah.
All these piles. The urge to merge.
I'm just gonna put it out here right now. I'm not going to sign off on the Miz in any form. So you might as well rule him out because I'm not going to allow him to get into this pool.
I mean, ultimately, we do have the 2-1 vote. I don't think he's going to end up making the list. But
yeah, Rob, could you probably think of like 50 people you'd want on this more than the Miz?
Yeah, I don't think Miz is making the list. I like the Miz.
Yeah. We can leave him on there for now, but like I'm just telling you out here right now, I'm not.
It's probably not happening. Yeah, you know.
There is an argument that at some point he should have been of that quality, but he never got there.
How about Yokozuna?
Yeah.
I would go Yoko. Oh yeah, I think Yoko.
What about Jake?
I'd say Bam Bam is. Jake definitely. I'd say Bam
Jake,
Bam.
Absolutely.
I'm totally cool with Bam Bam too.
I fucking said on him. Hell yeah.
Yeah, Bam Bam's fucking great.
I would say both Cesaro and Sheamus as a tag team.
I love the Bar, and
they,
two singles guys that are great.
Yeah,
you know.
I think they're both great. So
I have Sheamus.
So
and then
you have Sheamus, and I have Cesaro.
You have Cesaro.
Yep.
Here's my pitch. It's an ultimate all-time roster. You can't not have the Rock and Roll Express.
I was actually pretty keen on the idea of putting the Rock and Roll Express on there as well, but
I think they have to be there.
I think almost assuredly they're going to be there. I kind of want to put them in the maybe for right now, but I think we're going to move them over pretty quickly.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking we've got Ric Flair. If we want to do something with Four Horsemen, then we've got Tully on and Barry all in there.
My argument for that is it's very flexible to make new Four Horsemen, and if we can do an all-time thing, just because Tully and Arn were in the Four Horsemen doesn't mean that they could be the best possible Four Horsemen members.
The fuck are you talking about? Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. You don't do the Four Horsemen without at least Arn Anderson.
I've never been big on Tully, for instance. To where it would be like, okay, well, we have to have Tully in there.
Did you never watch Tully in his prime?
I'm sure I've seen some matches.
All right. We can circle back there because I'm not about to have the whole thing break down yet.
But we'll put them in there
Yeah, that could be an idea.
Kaylee Ray, let's move her into the no.
I like her, but that's
she won't make it, so it's unlikely. Let's see.
Layla in the. Oh wait, no, this already is the discard.
Yeah, that's already discard. Yeah. If you want to separate it a little bit from...
Yeah, I'm going to move these over just a bit.
Yeah.
If I can.
Well, yeah, just create a...
Or just give like a red hue over it or something so, they're discarded.
You can insert like an empty one.
Yeah, I just like dragging.
Let's have a look.
So how many do we have left? We have these 60, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got 70, and out of the ones we have here, whoops, we got to count these two. 70 spots, 108 to go.
Oh, so we got like most of the people on this are going to get picked then. So it's just deciding which ones we want to get rid of, I guess. Let's have a look. At this point, then I'd say Hulk Hogan definitely needs to be on this, even if we don't end up picking him, because it's WWE roster, so Hulk Hogan goes in there. And I would also say Hulk and Animal then at that point.
Thank you.
Yeah, put them in there.
Yeah.
How do we feel about Jerry the King Lawler? Because here's an argument that we can make.
He's on there.
Here's an argument. If push came to shove, we could take him out and put him on commentary.
Mm-hmm. Well, that'd be the case of like just taking him out then and just having him as the commentator for the show.
Then you treat him like you treated Sable, but I think he's a phenomenal wrestler.
Mm-hmm. Put him maybe for now.
I would more than likely sign off on Lawler. I think that he's a great character.
I'll eventually sign off on him, but I'm just looking at that at the moment.
Here's some other people we can.
Baron Corbin. Could we discard Baron Corbin?
Baron Corbin's not going to make it.
Yeah,
he's not top 150.
I don't think Diamond Dallas Page probably would.
Stood on that because I'd make an argument.
Yeah, I'd say maybe as well.
Maybe a pile.
Yeah.
All right.
Big Show must be in it.
Oh, where's Big Show? We didn't put Big Show in there yet.
Yeah, Big Show's still on Rob's list at the moment.
Where is the Big Show?
Above Jim Neidhart.
Neidhart. Gotta find Neidhart. Oh, yeah, I clicked on him. Yeah, Big Show definitely should have been there.
I hovered him just to make sure.
Yeah. Rick Rude.
Yes.
Yeah.
Rick Rude's great.
As a trio, Wyatt, Harper, and Rowan.
I'd be more okay with Wyatt. I wouldn't be sold on Harper and Rowan yet.
Put them all in the maybe.
Put them all in the maybe. And with that,
I'd be more keen on signing off on them as a trio more than anything else. But it just depends how much space we have left.
Where's Bray?
Because I don't think I'd take Wyatt on his own.
He's on my.
Strowman. In that kind of thing, but
put him underneath there.
Yeah, maybe as well. Because that could be good to have the package together.
Yeah. We already have Big E, so we already have that package.
Yeah. I would, if we're trying to do cruiserweight stuff as well, I think Dean Malenko is a look.
I could see Dean Malenko being a very valuable asset for that, yeah.
I agree.
In that same vein as well, I mean, this is interesting because we've got Bret, Owen, and Bulldog, so do we put Neidhart and Pillman in as well?
Ooh.
Because I don't know, because if it was just a case of using Neidhart on his own, then I wouldn't. But if it's an all-time roster, I would want to
put
have
him in the maybe.
On it.
Put him in the maybe for now.
Yeah, I mean it's worth a discussion for that.
And Pillman as well. Yeah.
Who's got Pillman?
Rob's got.
I got Pillman. He's on JBL.
Where's JBL? There we go. Okay. Here's an argument. These two can be used as a tag team, and they can be used as singles, and they can be used as cruiserweights. Ciampa and Gargano.
Not yet.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
Maybes?
Yep, I'm happy with that.
All right, let's talk about the Bella Twins.
I still wouldn't sign off on them yet.
They're very much maybes at this point in time. I'd be putting them in maybes, but yeah.
Because they're just not great wrestlers, and I think I'd rather have two better women's wrestlers than to have the Bella Twins, but it depends on the women, you know?
Yeah. I would say if we're looking at, again, the cruiserweight side of things as well, I think you should look at Neville and Finn Balor.
I'd agree with that.
Let's move these over a little bit. At the very least in the maybes for those, but I think I'd sign more on Balor than on Neville if we did have to pick, but we probably don't have to end up picking.
Well, let's put Neville.
Let's put them in. I'll even put them in that pile, just a separate thing, just to do that. What about Ricochet?
The same thing, yeah. I'd say at the moment. I think Rob Walter's got to be in this, right?
I believe so.
I'd put him in here, but he's probably going to go in.
I mean, all right.
There's probably not going to be much of a case to go against him.
To me, Rob Van Dam is top 150.
I agree.
I'd lock Rob Van Dam in. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine with Rob. Yeah. Let's have a look. See, still all these ones.
Still some good damn people. So.
Okay. Rob, you must think Goldust is top 150 now.
Yeah, I mean, we put some other people in there. We could put Goldust in there.
Yeah. How are we feeling about...
You haven't signed off on Dusty yet? What the fuck?
Yeah, let's put Dusty in.
I'm not putting Goldust over Dusty. That's a sin.
Do we put Dusty, Goldust, and Cody in?
Yeah, I think that.
I think at this point, yeah.
Who were we?
Interesting trio.
Who were we holding off on Dusty with? Who was that?
He just been left on the
You guys.
Yeah. We just
didn't get around to him, I guess.
Yeah, it was one that was almost certainly going to go in, but we just wanted to see what we had at the moment. I think we should put Natalya in.
Oh, yeah, shit, yeah. Where's Natty?
Above Charlie Haas. Just over here.
Yeah. Also helps out with the Hart kind of scenario.
Yeah.
I think I don't imagine that I'd be making much of a case in the grand scheme of things for Candice LeRae. I think she's ultimately not going to make it out of the. We only have 59 left.
Well, considering we haven't drafted a significant amount of women, I don't feel.
We do have some women that are still left that are higher up.
There's a strong argument to be made that out of the women that's left on the list, she's the best worker out of all.
Yeah, I make that argument.
How about we do this? How about we make this isn't for the discard pile. This is just a separate thing. Let's separate the women that we've got left so we can get an idea of who we've got. Bull Nakano and Alundra Blaze. We've got Michelle McCool, Diana and Miko. We got an empty spot here. Lex Bliss, Candice Paige, Victoria, Jazz. Kids don't know what the Jazz is all about. Molly Holly getting in there. Mia Yim, Dakota Kai.
Then there is Jacqueline Ember Moon.
Jacqueline and Ember Moon.
I think that's it.
That might be it.
Yeah.
Hoovy. Yeah. Okay. So that would be all of the women that we've got left. So that way, if we need a quick okay, how many women are we gonna?
Well, let me have a look. See, I want to see how many we've got in the list still at the moment. So,
because I don't think that we should make the 150. I don't think we need to have it 50-50 women and men.
No, I don't say that.
But I think that obviously we need a healthy amount of tag teams. We need a healthy amount of women's roster. We need a healthy amount of mid card, healthy amount of super top main event. We want to balance it out as much as we can. Just for that matter, I'm going to group some tag teams together. So we're not going to get Montez Ford without Angelo Dawkins. And what are some other tag teams? We got Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. We got Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas. Let's put Pete Dunne over here with British Strong Style.
Yeah. So this is the argument essentially. It's the fact that we picked 91 people now. We have 19 women.
So we should definitely add a couple more women.
And we will.
I'd say we need to have at least in the 150, I'd say that we'd want at least 40. Maybe slightly less, but I'd say around about somewhere between 30 and 40 women.
Yeah, I'd say we should bring in at least at the very least, right now, I think we can sign off on 5 more women and then add probably another 5 to 10.
Okay, so out of the list of women that we have so far, I'd say the 5 that we should consider are, I would go Paige. It's one of the ones.
So you're thinking Paige? I'll just bold these.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Well, the ones that I think are the most prominent ones would be Paige, AJ Lee, Alundra Blaze, Candice, Jazz, potentially Melina.
What about you, Rob?
I'm just letting him say the ones.
Michelle McCool,
I think we were only doing 5.
Yeah, I'd go Raquel as well, and Victoria. There's a load in there.
So you're doing
there's
10 of them then.
Well, it's pretty much all of them. They're all good, but it's a case of I'm just thinking which ones I'd. Who would you go with first, Rob?
So I would, of the ones that are bolded,
5, 6,
I think
7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 10 that Callum's mentioned. If we're going to try to do 5 at this moment, that we just all go okay, these 5, boom, locked in kind of deal.
Victoria's a lock.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Alundra's a lock.
I'm very cool with Victoria being a lock, so that's a 3 for. Who'd you just say?
Alundra.
Yeah, I could see Alundra being. Whoop that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Candice to me is a lock. She can work, and that's what we're looking for.
I mean, I'm a huge fan of Candice. I just said I thought that we would probably rank some other ones higher than her. So
at the moment, I'd say that there are. Well, at the moment, the 3 that immediately stand out to me are Paige, AJ, and either Jazz or Molly Holly.
I would sign off on Paige and AJ.
I'd go Paige. I'd go AJ. Yeah. So that's for.
And then even I think both Jazz and Molly Holly would both be in it.
I think so. There's a couple other names there that I like. To me, I'm signing off on Satomura, but I drafted her, so obviously.
Because for the most part, all of these kind of should go in it. I think the ones that are on here, the ones that I would rank the least would be these three, maybe.
I mean, like, I'd put Deonna on a all-time women's roster, but I'm probably the overzealous one in that regard.
I mean, I would definitely agree that Ember Moon and Jack Quinn are probably in the lower end of it. I would also say, just a personal taste as well, that Naomi would be on the lower end of it as well.
Mia Yim would be on the lower end of it for me, but I think I'd end up putting her over some other ones.
And really, from an in-room perspective, because we're building a card, Alexa Bliss would be on the lower end as well.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to... We'll see where we get, but I don't know if Alexa Bliss makes my...
Yeah,
she might make the roster, but she might not make the card.
Oh, I would assume she more than likely probably wouldn't make the card. Unless there was like a multi-woman match, a women's battle royal.
I would say for now, at least put Molly Holly in.
I'm cool
That'd be
with
the one that I'd be most.
I'm alright with signing off on, and I'll sign off on Jazz too, and then we can circle back to the women later.
I am not as familiar with Jazz, but the fact that she's built up this whole career and everything like that, let's put it in there.
We'll leave the women for a little while now. But we'll probably get back to adding a few more because there's still only about 25 that we've got so far. So
I'm still going to separate some of these tag team ideas just to get a sense of some of these tag teams.
And then let's clean up my roster a little bit. Like, I'm not going to make a strong case for Raven or Sid. I like those guys, but I don't know if top 150 if Sid makes the cut or if Raven makes the cut or if Huey makes the cut, quite frankly.
I don't know why you've added Robert Roode into the Undisputed Era rather than
I just did the wrong thing. Yeah.
I'm also going to just type in Bobby Fish as well because obviously no one drafted him, but he might be someone.
Maybe he's the oddball 301st kind of deal.
Yeah.
Juventud, I think we can kind of probably push off into the not.
I probably wouldn't go with Hoovy.
Yeah, those three, Hoovy, Raven, Sid.
Raven and Sid, I'd even make more of a we might talk a little bit more about them. But Hoovy, I was like, I don't think we're gonna go Hoovy.
Raven is the more interesting one out of the two of those to me, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Sid, let me just get this out of the way. Sid is such an interesting case because the man's competed in only 2 Manias. He's headlined both of them. Like, he's the epitome of got in, was always the top guy, got out, and lived happily ever after. So Sid's interesting to me in that way, but I don't know if he makes the top 150.
Yeah. I'm going to say, again, on a personal note, I'm going to find it very hard to put the Ultimate Warrior on this.
Yeah, it's kind of
because it's a depends thing. Because I don't think, Tony, you're going to be comfortable about putting Chris Benoit on this either.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we've been doing the whole yada yada problematic, et cetera, et cetera. For certain people, Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, so on.
In terms of significance,
Warrior's he's got a
couple
big negatives going against him too. The fact that he's not a great worker, and so it's put them down in another pile at the very least for now. I don't think we're gonna end up going with them.
I think we should put Bruno on there for nostalgia's sake.
I can see that argument.
I can see the argument. I think he might not make the card.
No, maybe not, but if it's an all-time WWE roster, you'd probably put the greatest, in kayfabe sense, the greatest WWE champion of all time.
So we got 52 spots left.
In a very different way, bro.
52 spots and 68 people left. Oh, no.
Yeah.
We got these. I don't forget about those. So 90 people. Damn, that went from. Yeah. So let's talk about more of these kind of ones.
Let's talk about some tag teams. Would you sign off on the Street Profits? Just a blank. top 150 teams do you sign off on the Street Profits? Or top 150 names?
I think I'd rather start knocking out these tag team ideas a little bit more so than to go Street Profits quite yet.
All right.
So like I think ultimate kind of roster thing, it makes more sense. Maybe New Age Outlaws and Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah, I can say. I'll be okay with that.
To be kind of putting them in there. You can do
stuff with Billy and Road Dogg with DX and stuff like that. So I think it makes sense as well.
If we're going with like pretty much all the Hearts, then that kind of thing too.
Put Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard into this.
Right.
What are you doing? Like,
for that matter, fucking put Walter on this thing, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, what are you doing? What's happening? Like,
just have Chops in there all the time, whatever. Fine.
I know what I would do with Walter in a non WWE thing, so don't you worry. And you guys won't agree, or at least Tony won't agree, but that's fine.
If you're thinking giving him a singles match, I think we're gonna end up not being able to do that.
I'm not even saying like giving him a singles match. I know who I'd give him the singles match against.
I have a name that I'm thinking about putting him against, and I'm curious as to if that matches up.
We'll talk about it.
Should we go more for these names, or should we start whittling away more of these? I'm still not sold on some of these too. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm still not sold on the idea of like Harper and Rowan and Strowman.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like if we are going to do some sort of light heavyweight or cruiserweight thing, we have to have like Neville, Finn Balor, and Ricochet in there. They're some of the best cruiserweights they've ever had.
If we're definitely doing a definitive like this is a cruiserweight division, then yes, those three need to go in.
I think you need that. If you've got Rey Mysterio, then you're going to do some sort of division like that. Yeah.
Can we put the Bell Twins on now?
No, I definitely don't feel like that yet.
We've got women on the side there as well. We have to think about it a little bit, but oh god, now we're getting into a bit more.
So now we're at 42 that we can pick out of 80.
Yeah,
so we have to cut this
half and half
a little bit more than half of.
I think in that sense, and just for the sake of, I know we've done the yada yada problematic stuff as well, and that's what we drafted those people. But I feel like we should draw a line under both Ultimate Warrior and Chris Benoit.
I'd say ultimately no.
It sucks because Chris Benoit was probably one of the greatest workers on this thing, but
we don't have a shortage of great workers too.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
You have to keep that in mind.
And he comes with a lot of baggage. So
yeah.
I don't think Haku will make the list.
I don't think he will either.
I will say similar things about. I think The Godfather and Mark Henry won't make the list either.
I would also throw Damian Priest into that pile as well.
Yeah.
Let's running out of some room here. Probably not Damian Priest. Probably not. I would say probably not Andrade. Probably not Luger.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Because if we are narrowing this down to half of this list, kind of deal.
Okay.
How do we feel about APA? Because you got Ron and you got JBL. And you can have them as tag team.
They're very different. I mean, I would have them as a tag team because I just don't think JBL.
We've got Ted DiBiase. We're not going to do a JBL if we got Ted DiBiase, that kind of deal. But we can do APA.
Bradshaw and Farouk. They're very different type of tag team. At the moment, I'm still not 100% sold. But
put it in the maybe pile.
Yeah.
Here's one that I think should be locked in. Tony was talking about comedy people. We need our truth.
I'd maybe him.
No. Yeah, it may be as well. I don't know because I don't know whether we do we really need like do anyone actually watch wrestling for like a huge deal for comedy stuff if you've got a card like this?
Well, I don't want us to have just a functional. This is a great match. That's a great match. That's a great match, and it's just wrestling pure. I think we do need a little bit of comedy, and if it is a roster that we carry on past one card, then we do need comedy. But we definitely need to limit the comedy because we don't want to have 15 Doink the Clowns kind of deal.
Yeah.
In that vein of both great wrestling and great comedy, how do we feel about Bob Backlund?
I wouldn't sign off on him yet.
Not yet either.
I think I'm not ready to discard him now.
Yeah. I think we should rule out.
How about we compare these? We've got
I think
World's Greatest Tag Team and American Alpha. If we were going to pick between those two, I'd honestly rather have American Alpha.
I think American Alpha are the more dynamic of the two teams. It is interesting though, but I think it's just a case of I don't think Charlie Haas ever reached a high enough star power. And to be fair, neither did Jason Jordan or Chad Gable realistically, but I feel like if you book them correctly, they'd be a higher step up than the other two. It's close though, because I really like both teams.
And if we're down to
I don't know at the moment. Actually,
we're down to the 42 still. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So 42 out of 78.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys are enjoying this all, by the way. Like we figure that you guys would enjoy us like debating about stuff instead of just having a list of like we did all this stuff and then here's the list that we came up with. I thought you'd like the debates. Okay. How are we feeling about Bobby Lashley?
He's fucking great.
Not sure.
Not sure yet.
Maybe.
Okay. What do we think of Dolph Ziggler? Because I'm certainly not sold.
Dolph. Because Dolph, he could be a great member of the Cruiserweight division too. I'd maybe him. I'd be more sold on Dolph being on there than, say, Aleister Black.
Well, I think Aleister's way better than... I think he's a better worker than Dolph Ziggler as well. So I'd still put... And I think he's more befitting the cruiserweight mold than Ziggler is as well.
All right. How about Keith Lee?
So maybe Aleister Black.
How do we feel about the Bearcat?
Keith Lee, I actually would sign off on Keith Lee. I feel like there's a few people that can do what he does.
I'd be cool with Keith Lee in there.
I like him. I do like him.
I do like Keith Lee a whole lot.
I think we should cut out Taz and Sergeant Slaughter.
I'm okay with that.
I think we can cut out Slaughter, yeah.
I'd say Taz as well. I really like Taz, but like
Taz, we do have some people that kind of fit the mold. Like we've got Samoa Joe, we've got suplex machine type people. We got I would ultimately say no to Ken Shamrock. I think.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think if you got Kurt Angle, you don't really
right.
I would say yes to Terry Funk.
Absolutely.
Terry Funk's interesting because we don't have anybody like a Terry Funk. He is certainly not the crisp worker that you're gonna get. Like you're not gonna book Terry Funk against Kurt Angle, but
I disagree with that statement.
Yeah, he's an awesome worker.
He's got a lot to him.
You just know him as Chainsaw Charlie and just banging people in the head with his chair.
You know what though? There's nobody else on this roster that can easily go against Walter, Bruno Sammartino, and Foley, and then like have a common match with our truth. Terry Funk is the versatile worker.
Yeah.
So we pretty much just signed off on him.
Yeah. I'm certainly not sold on Demolition.
I'm not at all. I think that actually we probably shouldn't put them in there.
I thought they would. I never saw anything in them as other than Road Warrior knockoffs.
Same kind of deal.
I certainly think the Crush was a bad wrestler as well.
If I had to get only like a tag team out of them, it'd be Axe and Smash, and I'd leave off Crush. But I think that I would like, just on a personal note, it would just be a case of like if I had to, I've only got one choice out of the Gable and Jordan and Shelton Benjamin. It's like, but we have to take one of Axe and Smash. Like, why? That would be my argument. Yeah,
I'd be like,
I guess if you guys aren't sold, I understand. I'm okay with discarding Demolition.
Goes the axe. I'm okay with discarding.
There goes the Smash.
What happened here?
I'm just putting the tag teams in there because you decided to like put them in singles.
I hadn't gotten around to moving them yet.
Well, yeah, that's why.
For some reason, I moved that over.
I'm trying to speed along the process a little bit.
That from minute one.
Yeah, I'm trying to speed along the process.
Yeah.
Why is Dijak still on this list? I like Dijak, but why?
I think he's kind of worth talking about.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, ultimately knows.
Well, just a case of like he's never reached any
true.
Real
he hasn't done anything super crazy yet. I mean, that could be the type of thing that in the future we go, oh yeah, of course Dominic Dijak would be on there because he's a 3-time world champion or something. But for right now, yeah, okay. Ultimately, we do have to whittle this then by half. So
Kushida's an interesting one because he would be great for a cruiserweight division, but just again, I don't know.
I'd say no on Kushida. I think we've got a lot of cruiserweights as it is, and we've got people that just outrank him right now.
Okay.
Fair enough.
He is great though. Like, that's the whole point. These are all great. Well, not all. Not all. Everybody's great.
All right, we've got 60 spots left, and we have.
We have 30.
62.
We have 40 spots left.
Oh yeah, with 40 spots left and 60 people here.
How are we feeling about Jerry Lawler?
I'm still not sold.
Still not sure.
Yeah.
I'm sold. We have a couple people here that we haven't talked about. Umaga.
Potentially.
Yeah. I would sign off on Double J.
I'm not sold.
I would sign off on Double J. We'll put him in the maybe. What about Rikishi?
He's real good. I don't know if we need him.
I would go Umaga over Rikishi. So that's
we might have to pick between the two.
Yeah. Let's see. At this point I'm ready to put Gargano and Ciampa into.
Totally got my book. Not my book.
Fair
my
enough.
vote.
I think good cruiserweights, and they could work as a tag team as well.
Tag team.
So.
You could always do underdog story type stuff with them, build them up on the card.
And
the
in
book
sort
of
of
manga.
Hmm?
Yeah, good cut.
I would say on my front, I want this Hart Foundation thing.
Yeah.
I'm cool with putting the rest of the Hart Foundation in there.
It's one of the best acts in wrestling history.
And honestly, because they're not the best workers, but they've got the start. Put the Bella Twins. I'm starting off on the Bella Twins as well.
Thank you.
If you don't agree with it yet, Tony, then we can still hold on it.
I still kind of want to hold. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at that we only have 30 people left, and I'm like, yeah, that already takes out two.
I think on that front we need to add some more women onto it anyway.
We probably should add a couple more.
At the very least, we need to add a few more. And in that front, I think now's the time for Candice to go in.
If we got Ciampa and Gargano, I think it makes sense to put Candice in there. Yeah.
Michelle, I would sign off on.
I'd be cool with Michelle.
I'm cool. Yeah, Michelle. Cool with.
I'd also be cool with Melina.
Now that I put the highlight of her, I never thought she was that good.
That's why I was like, why is he signing off on Melina and not Mako?
It's because she's a name. It's because she's a name a little bit more than the other.
But Mako's so good.
Mako's a better worker, but it's like, again, it's the star power aspect of it. Like, I would say I'd be cool with Deonna Purrazzo being on this, but like she never made her name in WWE.
Yeah, see, I don't look at Deonna and say, okay, well, she is 150 all time, and we should have her in there over some of the people that we have on the men's list that's on here. I think ultimately she doesn't get on the card if that's the case, and then why waste it if we can have a tag team?
Which it's true, but I also just feel like we need to have there needs to be like a quota of
diverse to a degree.
I would pick Bull Nakano, Miko, Mia Yim, Naomi, and Toni Storm all over Deonna.
Yeah, there's one. Yeah, I would probably agree with a lot of those ones. I would go. I think Raquel is something different.
I don't think I've seen anything great enough from her yet.
All right. Well, let's at least agree on one of these names. Would we agree on Mako on the roster?
I'd go Bull Nakano over Mako.
All right, so let's start doing some versus type stuff. That could be a good way to whittle it down. Bull Nakano versus Miko. What does Bull Nakano bring to the table that we do or don't already have? We do have
strong style stuff.
We do have a big monster in Karma.
We got Karma.
We've got let's see, we got Karma, we've got China, we've got Asuka. As far as like dominant people, like Asuka's not obviously the same type, but she is like
Beth,
Dominic. Yeah, Beth and Shayna have that. So Miko, I'd kind of put in the range of like an Io Shirai. And like
Mako, I just think is like she's a really, really good, competent wrestler. Just don't think that there's anything more beyond that point, though.
She kind of is like a Natalia to me. Like, I see the value in her, but I don't think I'd end up being like, she's man, Miko didn't make the list. Like, that kind of deal.
She's in the mold of Natalia or Alundra Blaze, I feel like.
Yeah. But I ultimately think I'd probably say no to both of them if we needed to, rather than to pick one of them. You know what I mean? Well, but if I had to pick, I'd probably go Bull Nakano.
It does get to a point where we're like... Because I feel like we've got... When you get down to... Now we've got basically 100 or so people, over 100 people now on our list. It's hard to find people that are really different at this point, because there are only certain amount of things that do... like that fit into certain parts for wrestlers and stuff like that. There's the like... It's hard to find someone who's completely unique now. Like, you look at the other side of like, oh, we could pick Bobby Lashley, but then we've already got... I don't know... Who's like a big like powerhouse guy like Reigns and Lesnar,
Goldberg, Batista, yeah.
But how many more do you kind of need on that front? But it's just whether you feel like they just add something to it.
All right, so judgment call. The Miz isn't going to go in there before. We've got cruiserweights and stuff. There's nothing Morrison brings to the table.
Yeah,
that isn't the case. I'm a huge fan of both of these, but they're not going to make it. So we're moving them off to the side.
Are we? In terms of just like, if we're looking just for good women's workers, I think the best ones that are left on there are Mia and Dakota.
I would potentially sign off.
Mako and Bull Nakano are both great workers as well, but like, it just depends.
But we haven't talked about really Mia and Dakota. And
so there's 12 women that are on here. I don't think we should pick more than 6. I think we should whittle this down to half. And then we might not even pick 6, but I think that we should definitely go, let's make a firm stance on the 6 out of this. Well, and I think out of that, I think I'd rule these Deanna, Ember, and Jacqueline out. I don't think I'd pick them as the top 6.
I'd rule Toni Storm out.
I would try to make the argument to keep Toni.
I would make an argument to keep Toni as well.
But if the argument against Deanna is
Deanna never won anything in WWE.
Yeah, Tony's NXT Women's Champion.
NXT UK Women's Champion, so she has won something.
All right.
And the Ember Classic.
Ember Moon is an NXT Women's Champion, but I just don't think that she's as good.
She won it, and then she lost it on her... She lost her first defense, essentially, because she only won by DQ, and then she lost it to the same person the next time anyway.
Jacqueline is a multi-time Women's Champion, but she was there at a time when no woman could work, realistically. It was her and Sable, essentially.
Fair enough.
So
let's move those two at the very least.
Yeah.
We would probably not with Alexa Bliss. She's probably not going to be in the top 6, right? I mean, if it's over debate, I'm up for bringing it. I just figured I'd be the only one.
It's just she's got more star power than all the others.
Yeah, when you have the qualifiers of we need names, and then you're thinking, oh, Bliss is a name.
Totally cool with that. Again, I thought that I was going to be the only one making the case.
I'd look her for like an all-star card or anything like that, but like as an all-star roster, then she's got more star power than the rest of the women there.
And of course, this is something you got to take into account too, just appearance-wise. Looks are a draw, and Alexa Bliss is one of the highest ranked as far as people. Like, she won that. She broke the Sexy Superstars tournament. That's something to keep in mind too. You could put a video of her on YouTube where her back is showing and people go nuts. She wouldn't make a card, but she could. I think that, you know what? Yeah, more than I'm talking about it.
I'm ready to lock in Alexa.
I'd be cool with locking in Alexa.
And honestly, on the same facet, we have to put the Bella Twins on this thing.
Yeah, I think I'd be cool with doing that too.
Okay, I've been arguing
those three can go in.
Those 3 go in. Yeah, because by that regard, I mean,
they're bigger stars than that. They're
big stars.
Bigger stars than pretty much everyone left on this thing.
They have the sex appeal. You got the whole and you got twins on the roster, and you got the tag team division for the women's roster. Yeah.
I know what this roster's missing. Twins.
Yeah, and twins.
Twins battle.
All right, so we're gonna in one more pick, we're gonna be down to 30. So we got 31 picks out of these. Out of these 55, we got to knock 25 out here.
Do we at least Adam Cole to this?
It'd be hard not to add Adam Cole.
I've been looking at the tag teams that are left, and all of them are still really good discussions.
I think the best tag team out of those ones are Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly.
Because they're so good too. That's the thing. Yeah.
And I'm pretty keen on the idea of putting all Undisputed Era onto this.
I would lock in all 4. If we're locking in anything with those 4, it's all 4.
I know Bobby never turned out to be as big as the other 4, but they're better as a 4.
They're a unit.
Yeah.
I think we can get away with the 3 of them if we needed to. So I don't want to lock in 4 yet and then be like, fuck.
Well, then leave them because
we'll probably end up doing all 4 just because it is kind of one of those deals where it'd be a little bit weird to not have Bobby Fish. But then again, he didn't get drafted. So I'd be kind of like, but then it's kind of fun to think that we added somebody that he didn't get drafted to.
He didn't get drafted because you took him away from me after I took Adam Cole. I was going to draft all 4 of them.
Yeah, they were all going to get drafted together. If I would have gotten Cole, I'd have gotten the other 4.
I needed to take some of these people. I would say ultimately no for Harley Race then. We're letting things down.
It's hard with Harley because Harley's like he's a brawler.
Great. Yeah.
Don't we have some brawlers that are potentially a little bit better than him in some ways?
We've got Terry, we've got Mick, we've got like...
and we've got like the elements of Harley Race.
Good match with Walter though, like.
But so could Vader. So could a lot of different people.
Harley Race versus Vader, manager against.
Yeah.
Well, drop Psycho Sid. He's not going to get onto a card.
Yes, it's probably not going to make the top half. I don't think Nakamura is going to make the top half.
I'd get rid of Rude before I got rid of Nakamura.
Yeah, get rid of Rude first.
I'd get rid of Rude. Sorry, Rude.
I'd get rid of Raven before I got rid of Nakamura.
Yeah, Raven as well.
I'd get rid of Raven and Nakamura, I think.
Yeah, I'm actually cool with Nakamura going as well.
All right, then I'll 2-1.
We'll drop both Barry Windham and Dynamite Kid as well.
Yeah, I think we gotta.
Barry's the 4th horseman. I'm not ready.
We can find someone else for that, right?
So we got tag teams on here. We got how many out of this? Oh wait, some of these that I had forgotten to put on the side. Godfather, no.
Yeah, all of them, no.
All of them, and
Damian Priest is no. Haku, Andrade, Lex, Mark Henry, because Mark Henry doesn't bring anything to the table that we don't have with some of the other beasts.
Hold on, we just got rid of Lex Luger. Can we get rid of Bad News Barrett? Like, Luger was at least a bigger name.
I think Bad News was a better character, but
I'd sign off on that, but still, like,
I'm fine with dropping Bad News.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Well, I think you drop Barrett and Rusev probably.
I think you drop them both. Yeah, it sucks to do, but we do only have 31 names left, and then now we're down to 41 out of here. If we only draft a couple of the women, we got 32 here. So we could get the bulk of these, drop only a few, and then if we needed to add another woman or two, we could. But I think we actually should focus more on here than the women.
I would sign off on Matt Riddle.
I would too.
Riddle so far.
I would too. I think that he brings something different to the table.
I don't think he necessarily brings something different, but I'm more invested in wanting to see matches between him and Kurt Angle than I would be Ken Shamrock and Kurt Angle.
I also think he can do comedy. And he can be in a tag team. You put him and Rob Van Dam in like a stoner tag team, that would get a lot of fun. You know?
You know what I love about doing these? Every time we do anything roster related, you just go, Tony really has the mentality of a WWE creative writer. Like,
I keep saying they should hire me.
He should do it.
But see, I'm organized. That's one of the things that they don't like. Can we sign off on APA?
No,
I'd rather have a lot of the tag teams that are already actually on the tag team side over JBL and Ron.
Then let's move some tag teams into this.
Can we sign off on at least the trio of the Wyatt family, if not all 4 of them?
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
There's a lot of these ones left.
Can we say no to Diamond Dallas Page?
No.
This is the part that I thought we were going to reach to, where we have the debates.
Right. We got 30 left, and we've got 40 people, so we have to get rid of 10 people from this.
We got so 10. Maybe we should try to make the arguments of who to get rid of out of the 10. I think we could get rid of half of the women on the list and at least one tag team.
I'm not ready to touch the women yet. Get rid of Umaga.
No.
Yeah, I don't know about
get rid of Rikishi ahead of Umaga.
Okay, fine. At least get rid of Rikishi.
You guys are willing to get rid of Rikishi?
I mean, not really. But like,
so then let's hold off.
I mean, ones that there's a couple that I want to get rid of. I want to get rid of R-Truth.
We're gonna stalemate the hell out of this, aren't we? Yeah. All right, how about we do this? Right, how about we make a decision, a final decision on these two tag teams? We got to pick one. American Alpha.
I want both of them on there now.
Okay. Look, I'm willing to hear out everybody that's left, including all the women. So we got to really think about this.
We got to start somewhere.
I know, but like. But we're not going to. We've all just said like basically everyone, and we've all like at least one of us has gone.
I think I'd get rid of the APA.
I'm not ready to get rid of them just yet.
All right, let's see if we can lock a single person in. Maybe that'll be a good thing. So we do have some singles people. We have Drew McIntyre, Bob Backlund, Harley Race, Jerry Lawler, all these kind of things in there.
Yeah.
If we just look at this group under the not unanimous, which they should be under singles, because that's labels. Yeah. If we look just under that, just separate these a little bit. If there's one person you could pick right now, we're probably going to go with most of these because we do have that we only need to knock out 10. If there's one person you would go, I would think we should sign off on this person in there. Who would it be? Out of that chunk.
Drew McIntyre.
What about you, Rob?
I'm thinking Jerry Lawler.
So my gut was saying Jeff Jarrett.
I knew it was. That's one that second lowest to me in terms of wanting to put in.
Do you want to do some debate ranking?
Okay, hold on.
Like we go like Lawler, Paige, and we have to pick, and then we just start.
Hold on. Let's start. I love Dolph Ziggler, but I don't think he's making the cut.
I mean, I'm happy with it.
He was my Intercontinental Champion on my card. I love Dolph Ziggler. I don't know.
Could be a great cruiserweight.
He's not a cruise. What do you keep saying that for? He's not a cruiserweight. He's bigger than 205. I don't know if he's bigger than 230, but he might be.
Yeah, I wouldn't put him in a cruiserweight division.
On a good day. If I'm thinking Dolph Ziggler, I'm putting him in the ring against guys like Perfect, guys like Bulldog, guys like Eddie. He's mid-card title division.
I'll put him down at the very bottom then. At least if we try to rank some things. Then he probably won't. If it's a 2-1, then he wouldn't.
I mean, like
I'd personally, my tastes, I'd rather have Dolph Ziggler than Bob Backlund, for instance, even though I know Bob Backlund he's a much bigger star and he would ultimately go on there more than Dolph. But just like as far as like card goes,
he can also do comedy. That's a big thing for you. He can do comedy.
So let's try to get a little bit of a ranking going on by comparing people. So this isn't to eliminate people. It's just to, if you had to pick between them, Lawler and Paige, I'd go Lawler.
Yeah.
So Lawler, at least right now, is ranked higher than Paige. Paige and R-Truth. I'd go R-Truth.
I think I'd go Paige.
So then R-Truth goes there. Because by default, he's lower than Lawler. Bobby Lashley and Jerry Lawler. I'd go
Lawler.
Lawler.
Lashley and Paige.
Lashley.
I'd go Lashley.
Yeah, Lashley.
R-Truth and Bobby Lashley. I think I'd go Lashley.
Yeah, Lashley as well.
Yeah, okay, so it's Lashley, Lawler, Paige. I mean, Paige,
Lawler, Lashley, Paige, R-Truth. Aleister Black, R-Truth.
Black.
Yeah.
Black and Paige.
Black.
Yeah.
I think I'd go Black. Lashley and Black, I'd go Lashley.
Black.
I'd go Lashley.
So that's 2 for Lashley then. So it gives us a little bit of a something to work with.
Yeah.
Harley Race and R-Truth. I'd go R-Truth, I think.
Harley.
Paige and Harley.
Harley.
Black and Harley.
Black.
Yeah.
All right. Umaga, Lashley.
Umaga.
Yeah.
Lawler and Umaga.
Lawler's
Umaga.
more versatile.
I think I'd go Lawler.
I go Umaga.
So that's 1 Lawler, 1 Umaga. What was yours, Rob?
Lawler.
Okay, so we got him in the mix there. Backlund and Umaga.
Backlund. Yeah, I'd probably go Umaga.
Backlund and Lashley. I think I'd go Lashley.
That's tough. I might go Backlund.
I'd go Backlund as well.
So then that's where Backlund goes in here. Rikishi and R-Truth.
Rikishi.
Quiche.
Paige and Truth. Or Paige and Rikishi.
Rikishi.
I'd go Kishi. Race and Kishi. I'd go Kishi.
Race.
There goes Kishi in his spot. Drew McIntyre and Aleister Black.
McIntyre.
Drew and Bob Backlund.
McIntyre. I'd go McIntyre.
Lashley and McIntyre.
McIntyre.
So that's 2 votes for there. Then Backlund would go above.
You went Backlund over McIntyre.
I did.
I think I'd go Backlund over McIntyre. Yeah.
Okay.
Jarrett and
I think Jarrett and Ziggler are right about where they need to be, maybe above R-Truth.
Mm-hmm.
Jarrett
Tony really likes that Jarrett though, so
Jarrett's fun. Jarrett's a lot of fun. Yeah.
You'd probably put both of these ones like you probably put them
I'd put Jarrett over Black, and I'd put Ziggler. Well, I mean, I would put R-Truth over Diamond Dallas Page, and then I'd put Ziggler probably over R-Truth, and I'd probably have Page at the lowest on this.
Jarrett for me is below Rikishi.
Above Page?
Yep.
Jarrett for me is probably above Kishi.
So then,
Rice.
At the very least, he goes above Page, because he would go above Black for me, below Rikishi. Wait, or above Rikishi, below
me, above Rikishi for Rob.
Okay, so then that would be 2 votes above Rikishi then.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Jarrett goes there, and then Ziggler probably at the end of the thing would end up being taken out of the mix. Just out of 2 votes.
If it was on that ranking, I'd put him above Jarrett.
I'd put him above. Yeah, I'd put him above Jarrett.
That 2 for above Jarrett?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, then actually, then he's kind of still in the discussion. So we got a little bit of a thing here, which means I think
I'd cut Truth and cut Paige.
We got 30 people, 40, so we have 10. So if we're only eliminating 10 out of this group, I think we can kind of sign off on at least these 3.
What, Umaga, Jerry Lawler, and Bob Backlund?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot you guys can't see that.
Yeah. I'm happy to sign off on those.
That makes sense.
Okay.
I think we should sign off on a tag team.
Okay.
And out of the tag teams,
you guys saw what I did with American Alpha on my card. I think that they're the fucking best.
So let's try to play around with the tag teams the way that we just did that. Get to kind of convince ourselves. You got British Strong Style or the Street Profits?
Street Profits.
Go Strong Style, but I know I'm less likely to. No, that's not going to win, but that's what I would choose.
I think
I go Profits.
I think Strong Style is fantastic. I just think Profits bring a little more charisma. Oh, a little more.
American Alpha or Strong Style? I think for budget, I'd go Alpha just because there's one less pick, but that's mostly because I think I'd be kind of wasting a pick on Trent Seven that I don't think I'd be really super fond of. I'd go American Alpha over British Strong Style.
I'd make the alternative argument that, like, American Alpha are 2 great wrestlers, but British Strong Style are 3 great wrestlers.
But we only have 27 spots left. That's where I'm thinking.
Well, now I'm kind of in the mindset of what would your opinion be if Trent Seven wasn't part of that group?
What do you mean?
I think you lose the tag.
What do you think about just taking Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne?
Yeah, then you get 2 great singles wrestlers, but I don't know.
2 great cruiserweights potentially.
I don't have to depair them.
And you could tag them.
Yeah,
I'd be cool with that.
I would sign off on the idea of I like them as a trio, and I do like Trent Seven, but I understand that he's not everyone's bag and stuff like that. But this one, you get 2 of the 2 super young guys who have really proven themselves and can be a lot more versatile, I guess. I would like to put both Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne on the list.
I would, if that's the case, and we had those 2, I would rank them above American Alpha. In that, I'd put American Alpha there.
At this point, I'd put them in the singles department and rank them right above Dolph Ziggler.
If we were going to go singles, I'd rank them differently, but
well, if we're ranking the singles, I rank them as cruiserweights, and that's why I position them higher than the other ones, because I feel like we could add more to the cruiserweight thing than the rest of the guys, which are all heavyweights.
I guess let's put these a little off to the side then. Let's figure out the tag teams a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, so American Alpha and Street Profits. I'd go. Oh fuck,
American
that's
Alpha.
hard.
I'd go American Alpha.
Yeah, American Alpha.
American Alpha over them.
You guys know, you saw how I booked the card. American Alpha's going in. If I have anything to say about it.
World's Greatest Tag Team and Street Profits.
World's Greatest Tag Team.
So what's the argument that you guys have for World's Greatest Tag Team versus?
We were watching.
I was watching too. I was going to say for World's Greatest Tag Team being different enough that you could.
You were watching when they were the best. You were watching when they were the best. You were watching when they were dressed in red and whatever and stuff like that.
And they were put back together because they weren't doing anything with them as singles.
Well,
we saw them when they were
you guys didn't let me finish. I was saying, what's the argument you guys have for what they bring that's different than American Alpha, where we would need to bring both onto there?
Because they're better tag teams.
Well,
I
understand what you're saying. They are a similar act. They're wrestling based. One's a white guy, one's a black guy, but I think you can have 2 of those.
It comes down to me with the idea that I would rather see an American Alpha versus World's Greatest Tag Team match than just have the Street Profits in because they're a little bit different.
Would you rank American Alpha or World's Greatest Tag Team? Where would you rank those 2 if you had to compare? Just to get the rankings.
They're perfectly fine right where they are.
You'd go Alpha over.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I'd go Alpha over Worlds.
I think they're 1A and 1B almost. It's like it's hard to even rank them really.
They are that good.
Because the more I thought about it, and I thought initially like the American Alpha, but then I was thinking, is that just recency bias? Because I just loved the World's Greatest Tag Team. They're just so good.
So we need to knock out 9 people out of this group.
I know.
Can we sign off on the Undisputed Era as a quartet going in the roster?
I would sign off on that if we can knock out at least Deanna.
Fine. I'll lose Deanna for the Undisputed Era.
Cool with that, Callum?
I mean, yeah, if I'm losing Deanna, I don't know about the 4. Yeah.
Ugh.
I'm kind of in favour of it. Part of me is also in favour of putting the Wyatt family in as a 4 as well.
I'm okay with that.
I think I'd be kind of okay with that.
I think they're very versatile.
And you got big dudes. They've all contributed in some fashion here and there, less so Eric Rowan, but
I would sign off on the 3 tag teams above APA.
I don't know if we're there just yet.
Yeah,
how many spots we got left? We got 19 spots left.
19 spots left
with 27
people.
That would leave us with 13 spots. I think we'll be okay.
We need to knock out 8 people. I want to start knocking out the ones that we're definitely not going to use.
All right, I'm not using Tony Storm.
I'm still keen on keeping her at the moment. I want to knock out. I want to knock out R-Truth and Diamond Dallas Page.
Fine, I'm good with that because
I guess
we're getting down to nut cutting time, and I think Truth and Paige.
For that matter, I think we probably could lock in Drew McIntyre.
Yep, I'm locking him in.
I would sign that off.
I think we can probably lock in Bobby Lashley.
We can lock in Lashley. We can lock in Harley, right, Callum? Lock in Harley. Do it.
Well, we lock in Black before we lock in Harley.
I wouldn't go so far with that yet.
We would lock in Harley.
So we've got 17 and we've got 23. So we got to take 5 out of this. It's really not that hard, but then again, the 5. Who do you go with the 5?
Well, I think
you knock off JBL and Ron Simmons.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know that yet because they're just a very different tag team in terms of they're brawlers.
And they have fun characters as all hell. They are vastly different from just having another great wrestling tag team. They've got backstage segments you can do. You can make them bodyguards for people. You can make them a lot of things. You could technically do Ron Simmons and JBL separately. We probably wouldn't in this regard, but I'd almost be like, okay, locking them in. If we're taking everybody but 5 out of on here, I'd be like, oh, we got to put them in there if that's the case. Because if I knocked out 5 on this list, I would knock out. Oh, fuck, that's hard too. God damn it. Yeah. Why is this so difficult? Why did we do this?
It is weird. I do kind of, part of me wants to put them on the thing at the moment. Like I'm leaning more towards them, the Street Profits at the moment. But there's just loads of choices. I'm just trying to think. No, we've got to put some women on here.
How many women do we have right now? We were trying to shoot for that range before.
I was trying to count them out earlier. I know we were at after Jazz we were at 25. So how many have we added since then, Candice? 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We've got 30 women at the moment.
You know?
So let's at least add 3 more.
Yeah. I would add 5 more. We gotta have nice solid.
Because 3 ain't enough.
All right, then I would add Bull Nakano, Mia Yim, and I would make the argument for Naomi.
Who would your exes be? Not like you started to date them, but you know.
Dakota, Mia, and Tony.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, so out of that, if I were gonna go with 3, I'd go Tony. I think Naomi, actually. And I think maybe Bull Nakano.
So we've got 4 there.
So how do you feel about Bull Nakano, Mia Yim, Naomi, and Tony going in there?
I'm not super happy about it, but like,
I also and Dakota. I'd add Dakota.
Well, then that would be somebody else has a 4th vote, because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, that kind of thing.
Well,
that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5.
Wait, what?
If we're going with those 5. Well, it's saying if we want to pick 5 people rather than 3.
Yeah,
straight away.
There's your 5. We get 35 women. That's perfect.
Oh, you're talking about adding. Okay.
Yeah.
Just adding all the ones that we've gotten votes against.
Okay. Let's do that then. Yeah.
And then removing the other ones.
And
then that's. Well, I'm not super sold on moving all.
We don't have to necessarily remove them.
We have to get rid of 5 people, so why would 3 of them be women?
Right. Yeah. So at the very least, we wanted to add a couple more women.
Yeah.
But we don't have to necessarily get rid of the other ones. So we have 18 that we have available. 12. So we have to get rid of 6 of this.
Let's get rid of 6
list.
People. Okay. So I think one tag team has to go.
I think one does, and I would say
then I'm okay with being against Street Profits.
I would make the case that it shouldn't be APA.
I would make the case that it should be the Street Profits because I think that's the unanimous look that we're all going for.
I would argue if we're going to get rid of a tag team, well, how are we thinking about bait and done because we have them in like the middle of those. We're not doing tag team, we're doing cruiserweight more so for them.
Yeah, well, that's what I would use them as, yeah.
6 people out of this list.
Yeah. At the moment,
I'd be more comfortable getting rid of Aleister Black, Harley Race, and Dolph Ziggler as 3 of the 6. And then a tag team or another woman and another whatever or something like that. Like
I would be comfortable getting rid of Dolph Ziggler, Jeff Jarrett, and Rikishi. It's 3.
I would not be ready for that yet.
How are we feeling about getting rid of Ziggler?
I'd get rid of Rikishi before then.
I mean, we did rank that.
I'd say Rikishi's the first one to go. It sucks, but like we got Umaga. I don't think we need Rikishi.
We should probably get rid of Rikishi.
Yeah.
So we got 12 spots, and how many people left? 17.
15.
So we gotta
17, yeah. 17, yeah.
So we gotta get rid of 5. I think I'd sign off on getting rid of Miko.
No.
I'd go Melina before Miko.
Yeah.
I'm okay, I think, with getting rid of Melina then. I think maybe...
Yeah. All right. Use the manager. Okay. Well, not the manager, because we haven't got Eminem in here, so it's unlikely. But I just don't think Melina's good enough in ring.
I'd get rid of Raquel.
I'd get rid of Raquel, too.
No, not yet.
Okay.
She's probably going to go if that's a 2-1, but I'll keep her in there for at least for now. Because maybe we don't. Maybe we end up getting rid of a tag team.
Which of those 4 tag teams do you want to get rid of? You want to get rid of the world's greatest tag team, don't you?
For me?
Yeah.
I probably would. Yeah.
I'd get rid of Street Profits.
What about you,
Callum? What would you get rid of?
Hmm.
He wants to say the APA, but he's thinking about the character.
Well, no, actually, no. The APA is the one that I'm not thinking of.
Oh, really?
Are we cool with locking in APA?
I would lock them in, yeah.
Yeah, if we're not getting rid of them, probably locking them in.
Okay, good. That takes them off the table at the very least.
Because, like, it's kind of in 2 minds at the moment. Where, like, I feel like just in pure wrestling ability, the Street Profits are the worst out of those 3 teams. But then I'm also thinking that I'm also going with Tony's logic of like that the American Alpha and the world's greatest tag team are too similar.
I don't care.
Because we also have a lot of other wrestling tag teams too.
But you haven't let me finish yet, and that means that if I am going to get rid of one of those 2 teams, I'm getting rid of American Alpha.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that.
Because see, we've got the Steiners, we've got the Undisputed Era. As far as like, you know, like we could just.
The versatility. You got Chad Gable. You got a guy with the size of Jason Jordan. I'm not ready to sign off on throwing American Alpha.
I'm probably not. Like, this is going to be an argument. You're probably just going to be like, oh, what the hell? No. But what about Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin? I want to bring it up just as something that's...
I'm up with Tony being thrown off.
Just for a discussion point.
No,
they were not as good as John Cable and Jason Jordan. That's why I was like, look, I'm not actually being serious about this.
Jason Jordan as a single to pair him with Seth Rollins. No.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot that they were a tag team. Jesus. Oof.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, how many? What are we at now? I keep losing track.
I think the argument Rob just made of like the versatility of Chad Gable in particular is now leaning me towards those 2. 14. If you were to ever split them up, which you wouldn't do because you're not stupid like WWE are.
Yeah.
But you always have the versatility of Chad Gable. Intercontinental champion, then Chad Gable against Eddie Guerrero.
I'm thinking Cruiserweight champion.
I mean, Cruiserweight champion, fine. Chad Gable against Neville. Chad Gable against Dean Malenko. Chad Gable against...
Also, the roster being the way that it is, we're going to draft like a card specifically, but we're also trying to figure out like, individual matches that would happen throughout over time. On a regular episode of Raw or SmackDown, you get Chad Gable against Kurt Angle.
Yeah. Okay. Look in American Alpha.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah. All right. You see that? That's good.
But now, eliminate the world's greatest tag team.
No.
I'm cool with that.
No.
He's right. There's too many of them. So as soon as you convince me of that one, we have to get rid of the world's greatest tag team. I know they're great.
See, they go look at the Shield.
It upset Rob so much he turned into the robot again.
Yeah.
Your microphone's all messed up again.
All right, I'm checking.
You got to switch it over to the other one, yeah. So we have 10 people to pick from for an ultimate 8 spots left. We have to get rid of two people out of this.
Uh-huh. It's the interesting thing is like you're looking at the singles and you're looking at both Aleister Black and Harley Race, whereas I'm looking at the singles and I'm looking at both Dolph Ziggler and Jeff Jarrett.
I'm actually not thinking about taking out the singles things necessarily.
Am I sounding all right?
Now you're sounding okay. Yeah.
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 I think we should put.
I'm kind of thinking maybe taking out either Miko or Raquel. I'm leaning a little bit more towards Raquel.
I don't know why you'd go with Miko over Raquel. Like what?
Hold on, let me look at the roster and then I'll make a decision on either Miko or Raquel.
Because I just haven't seen anything super great from Raquel yet.
Raquel has more of a character.
I'm not seeing anything super great from Miko. I've seen lots of really good stuff from Miko, but it's not like she's name one Miko match that you've seen that has been super great.
I mean, to be fair, if I had to pick the two, I'd probably ultimately at this point I'd probably pick Miko and Raquel to be the two.
Well, then we'll get to it then.
And I'd keep Aleister Black, Harley Race, Dolph Ziggler, Jeff Jarrett, Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, Montez, and Dawkins. Because we only need to get 2 out of this thing. I'd probably knock out Raquel and Miko.
I think I'd make the argument that one of those knockouts should be Bate.
No, I don't like that idea because I think Bate's one of the best workers out of these ones. So
all right.
I think Bate I would knock out way more than Pete Dunne. For instance, if I had to pick one of the two, I'd pick to keep Pete Dunne.
Hear me out here. We knock out Jeff Jarrett and Miko Satomura.
I'm okay with the Miko one.
You want to get rid of Miko now? I thought Miko was like your girl.
I think I would make the argument for Miko, but I'm trying to barter a little bit here. We can barter. We can.
I like the fact that fucking like Santino Marella is still I italicized over in the Discord post. Like Tony's like, oh, I'm gonna come back to you.
What happened?
Like fucking hell, like he's
italicized. Yeah, just
like no, it's not fuck Santino.
No, that's not we're not bringing him in there.
I'm willing to barter a little bit, and I see Tyler Bate, Pete Dunne, very important to you. I think I can budge on Miko if it means we're keeping Dolph Ziggler.
How about we do this? Are we keeping Street Profits?
Yes.
For a tag team?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so let's just move them over there.
I would like to keep Aleister Black. I feel like he's one that I really want to keep out of everyone more than anything else. Great cruiserweight bet. He's got a unique look. Great cruiserweight.
All right, fair enough.
We what are we at? We have 6 spots left for 8 people. So we have to nominate 2.
There's only 2 people we're getting rid of. All right, so yeah, okay. We got. Why do we do this? We've got these 8 people. Let's just do the ranking thing with all 8 of them.
Okay,
they're all singles.
We ranked these, so we don't need to bother ranking them. So then we need to fit these in there somewhere. All right, so Tyler Bate, where's he going for you guys compared to these 4?
Under Jeff Jarrett.
Above Dolph Ziggler for me.
I'd go under Jarrett. That's 2 under Jarrett. Pete Dunne.
Above Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, above Dolph Ziggler.
I'd go above Harley Race. So that's 2 above Ziggler and 1 below Harley Race. So, that's you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Math. Raquel Gonzalez.
Above Pete Dunne.
Above Dolph Ziggler.
I'd go below Tyler Bate. So how do we
and
balance
the reason
that out? So
the reason I've changed my tune on Raquel is because I looked at the roster and I think we have a lot of great women who can just wrestle. And I think Raquel might be, a different flavor.
It was below Race, below Dunne.
Yeah. He said below Dunne, I said below Race.
And then I had below Bate.
Yeah.
So that balances out to like on par with Ziggler. Or above Ziggler? Probably above Ziggler, I would assume.
Yeah.
And then Miko.
Below Bate.
Above Jarrett.
Either below Bate or above Bate for me.
So it looks like Bate and Miko are the ones getting cut.
Yeah, I guess by proxy, and then Pete Dunne becomes a member of the Cruiserweight division.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what we're looking at right now.
All right, I think that
I will say, I do feel pretty dirty that Dolph Ziggler's making it onto this roster.
He just slid in there.
I just like looking at all the people we've discarded, and I'm like, oh no.
Well, that does open up this little bit of this debate. We could always do this. Now we do have this group of people under this discard pile. We didn't discard them entirely. That's why we created the pile. So it's open for discussion. Is there anybody you think you try to make a real strong argument for out of this whole big bevy of people to be like, okay, let's try to replace somebody. Let's try to do this or whatever. Most of these, I'm assuming we would keep exactly where they are. Like, I don't think anybody's going to make the case that we need to have Kurt Hawkins in there or something along those lines.
Well, it's funny because your eyes dart to a name like Kurt Hawkins, but I'm looking at it and going, I don't know, man. We've kind of stated that there's more value in somebody like a Dolph Ziggler or somebody like a Jushin Thunder Liger.
But it's like a WWE style thing, so I don't think I'd sign up for Jushin Liger. Just
all right, I guess if
it's a WWE criteria, I'd go with that a little bit more. I'm just looking a little bit at I'm looking a lot of the women just to see if like there's any ones that would stand out a little bit more, just if they were picked later as like sleeper picks almost.
To be honest, if somebody wanted to make the argument, I'd listen to the argument of Liger over Ziggler.
Nah, I don't want to put Liger in just because
of what he's done outside of it.
Yeah, realistically, that's kind of the big thing. I know that's kind of an argument with like the Terry Funks and stuff.
Well, that was my argument with Deanna. So, and we did not. At least that's Funk true. Has done more under that WWE umbrella.
If we had the ability for people to call in and we were doing this live, I think Bob Holly would call in and he'd be like, "Hey, I got an idea." I can't see us putting Trent on here. I can't see as far as like big names go that it seems a little bit weird that we don't have on our list. The names that stand out to me would be actually most of them. I'm like, I think that makes sense that they're not on here.
Well, there are some that's like they're a bit interesting in terms of Moolah for the legacy thing.
Yeah, I highlighted Moolah because I'm kind of feeling like
there's.
There's Chris Benoit, but then of course the stuff.
I
think
Benoit. We did a good job.
Is it? Maybe this says something bad of me as a person. It's just a case like I would rather have Chris Benoit knowing everything he's done than Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, I think that's pretty bad. Dolph Ziggler's not done anything like that.
We're not gonna touch that.
I feel bad. I feel bad about these people. I feel bad about Rikishi. I feel bad about R-Truth. I feel bad about. I feel bad about Mark Henry, to be honest.
A little bit bad about.
I don't. I'll just say that outright. I think we have so many better big men.
I do feel a little bit bad about Slaughter, but I completely understand why he's not on the list. Because that's just a matter of like, it's Sarge, but it's like, yeah, but look at the people we're drafting. It's only 150 people. Like,
I'm starting to feel bad about people like Serena Deeb and Sonya Deville.
Top 150 to me. No, not touching it yet.
Ruby Riott.
Not a chance. She didn't accomplish it.
Nikki Cross.
If Nikki ASH was on here.
My God.
I'm looking at anyone else in particular. Like, I'm looking at people that like really accomplished a lot, and it seems a bit weird that they're. I mean,
we got rid of Big Boss Man with ease, and that felt a little strange to me.
It's a little bit.
It's a little weird to get rid of somebody as quick as we did with for Tommy Dreamer, but Tommy Dreamer wasn't going to make it.
I don't think we added too many hardcore guys, so we're good.
Yeah, so
Raven,
I don't think he was gonna...
Feel a little bit bad about Raven.
Yeah, it's a little.
MVP, were we a little too quick on MVP?
I don't think so. Because MVP, he was really good for a lot of what he had done. But I think if he would have had just a little bit of an extra spark in something, then that whole idea that people would argue that he should have been a world champion, then he would have done it. And he didn't. So I'm kind of like, I do kind of like MVP a little bit more as like the mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley, you know?
I made such a big fuss about them on my card that I at least want to discuss that I didn't make a big fuss for London and Kendrick. I let that one go because I know that that's me. Like that's the me thing that I would put them at the top. But they are great cruiserweight additions as well as a great tag team.
Yeah. And part of me is feeling bad about the Viking Raiders.
You know?
I'm not feeling too bad about it. They're great, but
London and Kendrick over the Viking Raiders for me, but that's just me.
I mean, I'd go the other way around. But
I'd go Viking Raiders over London and Kendrick.
Yeah. But you guys are terrible.
But I'd honestly go Kendrick over taking up 2 spots. But then I wouldn't go Kendrick on this list.
Well, that's another thing that I was going to discuss is that I know obviously we really struggled over the world's greatest tag team. Now I'm feeling really bad that Shelton Benjamin's just not on this. Just Shelton Benjamin on his own.
Hear me out. Shelton over but then who do you get rid of? Because I'm like Shelton over Ziggler.
Well, I know who I get rid of.
I'd get rid of
Shelton over Ziggler, maybe?
No.
I would.
I feel
I'd rather go Shelton over Raquel.
I was thinking Raquel myself.
I don't want to get rid of a woman
but I don't want to get rid of a woman. There, like that's. I'd get rid of.
Now that you brought up Shelton, now I do feel bad about Shelton because Shelton's so good.
Shelton feels like he was part. It's weird because Shelton and Dolph feel like they're very similar. That they're part of the furniture for years and years and years. Multiple times in the Intercontinental, never really. I mean, Dolph did a couple of times, but never really broke through to the main event.
Okay, what about this? Shelton over Bobby Fish.
No. Oh, no.
Because we got Cole, Strong, and O'Reilly, and really, there's never been a point that Bobby Fish ever looked like he was going to be like that.
Upon breaking up quartets, what is this thing with you?
Because there's an argument to be made that the trio, you keep trios, and you can have trios matches.
I told you, the only reason that Bobby Fish was not drafted is because you took the other 2 members of the Undisputed Era after I'd picked Adam Cole.
You could have picked Adam Cole and had him with Bobby Fish.
No, I couldn't. Who would do that?
No, but well.
It does not speak to the idea that Bobby Fish by himself does not need to be a part of that, and he's only if you've got the other ones, which means you could potentially not have him on this list, and it's not hurting all that much.
Well, no, because then I would make the argument that it's like that you don't need Strong and O'Reilly there now either, because I don't think I'd pick Benjamin over both Strong and O'Reilly.
I think Strong and O'Reilly singles wise are better than Fish, and I like Shelton more so than Fish. I like Fish. This is, again, this is a list of a bunch of fucking great people. But I would sacrifice Fish to put Shelton on there.
I would not. Not happening. Like we got the quartet. I like the quartet of the Undisputed Era.
Is there anybody that you guys are thinking could be knocked out for Shelton? That's on like the first couple things or something.
Yeah, Undertaker.
Yeah.
Guys made a really strong case about Jushin Thunder Liger and it being WWE. Karma.
I'm never going to be comfortable with the idea of taking a woman off for a man on this list. I know it's like it's just a fantasy thing and all that stuff, but it just doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't sit right.
I'm looking at this list and I'm trying to figure out who I would potentially sack for Shelton. At least we're in the agreement. It seems at this point we're in the agreement that if we are going to make the case for anybody to go on here, it seems like we're stuck on this Shelton thing than anybody else, like Rikishi or the Lex Luger or whatever.
So if we're gonna get rid of it, and it has to be a man to get rid of for Benjamin, then I will look through this roster, and I'd look at somebody like, maybe Double J.
Get rid of Bobby.
No.
So it's funny because we have 2 votes. We had at least at one point now 2 votes for Bobby, 2 votes for Raquel, 2 votes for Ziggler, 2 votes for who was the other one?
I'm not getting rid of Bobby.
Because I would sign off on Bobby, I would sign off on Raquel, I'd sign off on Ziggler at this point.
The only way that Bobby Fish would make on this card if we're doing an Undisputed Era match.
Right.
We're doing a 4 versus 4 Undisputed Era match.
But Shelton could be in a Money in the Bank, or Shelton could be in a...
Well, fundamentally, Shelton's not going to make it on the fucking card. Let's get it.
That's true. Shelton probably isn't
straight here at this point. So it's whether it's just that's just the thing that's going in my head is that Shelton. Do we
say that he's at least made the roster kind of deal?
Yeah, that I mean that's my point really, and it's whether because at the end of the day, it's whether we end up putting the Undisputed Era in any configuration onto this one.
But if you're going to use that mentality, then hey, let's get rid of Eric Rowan.
So obviously we're not going to settle on this. This is going to be a whole big debate when we get to the card itself, but let's try to prep ahead.
Can he be like the Mew of this thing and be number 151?
I'm kind of okay with that. I'm kind of okay with breaking that little 150 thing. Why don't we? Okay, here's an argument.
Yeah.
Here's an argument. This is a way to justify this.
Strong roster. That's like all these things.
Here's an argument to make that I think we can justify this, so everybody listening isn't going to go, "Oh, he fucking copped out." If we put Shelton Benjamin in there, if we look at this list, there is literally only one person that hasn't been drafted in the mock draft, and it's Bobby Fish, and it could be that he is the kind of the Mew. If we were to bring somebody in that we didn't have in the mock draft, he's like that 151. So he's like the outlier, and it's 151.
That's a really good weaving out of this conundrum, Tony. And I'm more than happy to just go into it because I think it's too much of an argument now, and I've exhausted my.
Does it make sense though?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
To me, it makes sense in the sense I want to end this at some point. But yeah,
catch him. Gotta catch him all.
There you go.
Bobby Fish.
And what's really kind of intimidating? This was the easy part.
I know.
Making the card's going to be so much harder.
I still maintain that I think a lot of us will share similar match ideas.
No, Tony's going to hate some of the ideas that I have because they're too good. He doesn't appreciate it.
Well, I mean, if you're saying that you need to have you got to sacrifice a third of the roster to make sure that there's a Harley Race versus Rick Steiner match or something, I'm not going to sign up on that. Just saying though, but we're probably going to come into this with some generic ideas. Obviously, we're not going to have the Dudley Boys split up. We're going to have them in a tag team if we have a tag team match that would incorporate them.
Well, let's talk about this. Just before we even get started, I'm totally cool with the idea of not doing any sort of stupid Rick Steiner Harley Race match. If you're also fine with the idea of not putting Walter in a fucking big man buffet.
I don't think that we're going to have a big man buffet. That's highly unlikely we're going to do a big man buffet. But if we do,
no, he's not.
Walter's probably not going to go in there because he'd probably go with some kind of strong style type of thing. Yeah. Now, big man buffet would be more so for somebody like
Eric Rowan,
like a Braun Strowman. If we didn't have the Wyatts or something, yeah. Or maybe even Vader,
Andre.
Maybe Andre. Yeah, Andre would definitely be in a big man buffet. Because he can't really do too much other than that.
But with Andre, battle royals are a nod of honor and respect. We're not going, hey, you fucking throw him battle royal.
What, for Andre?
Yeah.
You wouldn't battle royal?
But I'm saying if you do, there's a different philosophy when you're booking Andre in a battle royal.
Yeah, I mean, he could be the star of the big man buffet or something. This
is just a taste of how bad this is going to go.
It's gonna
we're
be.
We're not even talking about like the big names and like who gets the big like match.
Who gets the main event of either of the two nights, and then you know what we're gonna have an argument for? We're gonna start doing the WWE thing of, okay, well it's kind of a main event because it starts the card. we're gonna have that argument
right now and say I will never fucking make that argument.
We're gonna get into a point where we've just argued for so long that it's just a point of like, okay, you construct a third of the card and you construct a third of the card.
Well, the game plan that we're gonna have when we're approaching this, we're gonna record the debate about the card in at least a couple of days. We haven't quite decided on when we're gonna do it. Again, it's the 9th of October right now that we're doing this, so maybe somewhere around like I don't know, 15th or something. I don't know. We're going to have some days that we can tinker around with stuff. Like, I know I'm going to look at this card. I'm going to separate them on my own little separate thing. I'm going to start like, okay, let me lump all the tag teams together. Let me lump all the women's division together. Let me lump all the mid-card kind of acts together, all the main event acts. Like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to start trying to figure out priorities that I would pitch for and interesting ideas, because like we are kind of in the mix where it's like, okay, do we do some big DX kind of thing? We've got a couple quartets, we got some trios, we got some ideas that we had pitched for our various cards. Like we could do a Money in the Bank ladder match, we can do some kind of war games
for my card
type of thing. Like, I don't think we're going to do a tag team tournament the way that your card ended up going with. But
it's like the whole card, just the same two teams fighting each other in different variations.
We could do like a War Games type thing. Like I really liked Callum's idea of like the Bruno and Ric Flair opposite teams kind of deal. And now we've got 4 Horsemen. We've got Undisputed Era. We've got Wyatt Family. We've got the Road Warriors are together. We got the Dudley Boys together. The Hardy Boys together. Edge and Christian are together. The New Day is together. The Hart Foundation is basically together. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Tons of great women to pick from. The 4 Horsewomen, of course. Obviously, were easy picks. And the Usos. And this is going to be ultimate.
A nightmare.
It is going to be a nightmare. We have Rhea Ripley in here. It's going to be fun. And stressful.
Yeah.
And I guess you're gonna find out where we go with this and how we settle on a 2-night WrestleMania. How the hell we're gonna do it, I don't know. We have 50 more people than the ones that we had.
Jesus, isn't it great that they just made that advent last year so that we could use the excuse of a 2-night WrestleMania?
Oh God, if this would have been a 1-night thing, impossible. Wouldn't have happened. But yeah, that's what we're working with, and we will settle that on the next episode and try to figure out the ultimate roster WrestleMania shenanigans of all time.
It's going to be written down exactly like that.
Maybe, yeah. So again, since we are doing this in advance, we can't figure out what your suggestions are. But I would like to hear some suggestions in the comments, because we are going to release this over a time frame where it's not going to be all in one shot. So, you know, from the course of the time that this is up there and you guys are listening to this, drop your comments and tell us your thoughts on what matches you would like to see. And then you'll be able to later on go back and see if we ended up actually doing any of those. If whatever it might be. God knows. I don't know. I think we will end up having some of the same exact ideas, and we'll have a lot of completely different ideas. So I want to see what other ideas people have as well. Keep that in mind. Drop your comments below. Like, follow, share, favorite, subscribe, all over the place here. Keep checking out everything on smarkoutmoment.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at smarkoutmoment. Check out everything over on fanboysanonymous.com as well for all the movie review content and stuff on the geek culture spectrum, like video games and TV stuff and whatever it might be. It's all over there. Follow me at Tony Mango. Follow Rob at Dude Felice.
Yeah, follow me there. Follow me there on every social media platform. Check out Fightful.com and Fightful Select, because I'm sure there's a lot of great scoops breaking on there. And I'll toss you over to Callum. Callum?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at WeekMeister14. Check out all of the weekly articles on smarkandmoment.com, including the power rankings, my week-to-week contribution. And yeah, if you're interested in diving back into the archives a little bit and listening to some retro wrestling content, there is, of course, 2001 A Wrestling Odyssey and the Paul Heyman SmackDown podcast that myself and Rob put together quite a little while ago now. I might have to refresh it with another series soon, but we'll wait and see if that comes to fruition. But for now, those are there, and they never get they never get older. So check them out.
They get older, but they don't age.
Yeah, they never age. Yeah.
Yeah.
We get older. They don't age.
So that's it. We will see you next time, everybody. Thanks for listening to this. Thank you for all your support, and have fun and stay safe and enjoy November or whatever it is that we're publishing this. I don't know. We'll figure that out. But adios, everybody. We will see you next time. This has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out.